Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Farhan, also known as Gunner since 96. And you're watching my post-match reaction where Arsenal have obliterated, walked through the middle. Not round the edges, not round the sides, not round the back. They went straight through the middle and tore Slavia Prague to pieces. Arsenal 4, Slavia Prague 0. Arsenal progress into the semi-finals of the Europa League. Oh, it's heating up. It is really getting interesting. My, oh my, oh my. What a performance. I mean, was I expecting that? Yes, I was. I really was. I mean, if you look back at the match day preview, I said it. They'll finish the game off in the first half. But to see it happen, to see it unfold in front of your eyes, to see it manifest like the way it did, it was beautiful to watch. It really was. I can't remember a time where I was watching a game of football and I was so relaxed and just enjoying it so much, you know. Usually when I'm watching a game of football, especially if it's an Arsenal game, I'm overanalyzing, I'm looking all over the pitch, trying to work out what way is the best way to get into the box, to try and score, to try and develop attacking movements, all that kind of stuff. But tonight, I was sat back with a smile on my face, just letting it flow. Just letting it flow. Because Arteta, he got the business done. He done the business. And he done it in some spectacular fashion. 4-0 in Prague against a side who haven't lost a home game in how long? I don't even know. I can't even remember the last time they lost at home. It was a ridiculous time ago. But we set the record straight today. And, you know, I'm going to start off by talking about the starting lineup, because that for me was a statement of intent from Arteta. That for me was almost like a middle finger up to all the haters, to all the critics and everyone who's questioned Arteta. It was a moment of, watch this. I'm going to show you. Because I wasn't expecting Granit Xhaka to play, to see Granit Xhaka at left back at all. I think that was a bold move. If ever there was a game where you don't make changes, where you don't do anything out of the box, where you don't think out of the box, is this game. You play your strongest players in their strongest positions, in their preferred positions. Seeing Granit Xhaka there on the left-hand side worried me a little bit. I had a sly grin on my face because it was very ballsy. It was very, very ballsy, and it paid off. Granit Xhaka on the left-hand side, Chambers on the right-hand side were two worrying changes for me. Ceballos playing next to Partey, worrying. And the reason why I say that is Ceballos, his season, the inconsistency of it, and how unfairly treated he's been as well, I think, because of the lack of game time, because of the fact that he probably knows at the back of his head that he's not going to be playing at Arsenal next season. He's not going to be playing at Real Madrid next season. So it's almost a waste of a season for him because he hasn't been able to properly excel and develop. So you never know what kind of game you're going to expect from Danny. But again, today, it wasn't his best performance, but in some respects, there were aspects of his game that was so good. He didn't need to be the best. He didn't need to be at full throttle. He didn't need to go at full throttle. I mean, other than those three, everything else I was happy with. I was happy with seeing Lacazette up front. I wanted to see ESR, Pepe and Saka in the formation and in the positions that they were playing at as well. And it worked. It worked, an absolute treat. So it was a mixed bag. You know, the starting 11 for me was very much a mixed bag, but I was willing to see what would unfold. And despite it being a quarterfinal second leg, despite it being the most important game of our season, I was fairly comfortable. And I was fairly comfortable for two reasons. One, because I expected Arsenal to go into this game as favourites and to blow them out of the water. And two, if the worst came to worst and we lost that game, I have already written off this season, so I don't have many expectations. It's kind of the sad reality of being an Arsenal fan, where we're at a low point in our life as Arsenal fans, where we care when we lose, but we've psychologically prepared ourselves for when that happens. But, thankfully the latter didn't happen, and we're able to sit here, rejoice with smiles on our faces and look forward to meeting Unai Emery in the semi-finals. But let's talk about the game itself. The game started off clearly with Arsenal's intent in playing an attacking style of football. Arteta would have told them, look, this is it, second leg of the quarterfinals. They got a goal late on. Don't let that happen. Finish the game in the first half. And funnily enough, I expected that to happen, and it happened. It's not very often where I make bold sort of predictions and they come true. In fact, I tend to stay away from making predictions, but I was so confident that this Arsenal side were going to be able to do the business today that I thought, I can't see a Slavia Prague team who are missing so many key players, and reading about Sima and Olejinka potentially missing the game as well. And, Sima certainly did in the first half. He was dropped off on the bench. And obviously they had one of their key centre-backs missing because he is serving a 10-match ban for what happened at Rangers, and we can talk about that I guess another day. It just doesn't seem appropriate to be talking about that now. What I will say is that UEFA's decision to ban him 10 games shows us all that clearly he's guilty of what he's done, and the punishment was not harsh enough in my opinion. But swaying away from that, judging by their starting 11 and how they were set up, I couldn't imagine Arsenal letting this happen, letting them getting one over us. No way. And so, like I said, the first 10 minutes for me showed everything I needed to see to let me know that, sooner or later we were going to see a dominant display of football from a very, very strong group of players. Talent-wise, quality-wise, there was... you couldn't make the gap any bigger with the talent we had on display with the likes of Bukayo Saka, Smith-Rowe, Partey, Lacazette, Mari, Xhaka to some extent as well, Dani Ceballos. When you boil it down to the facts, when you get down to business and when we start talking about football, these are top-notch quality players, without a shadow of a doubt. There is no doubt in my mind that any other team in the Europa League right now would take Lacazette, Smith-Rowe, Saka, Partey, potentially Xhaka with the performances that he's been putting in of late, Mari, Leno even. So I think as Arsenal fans, it's natural for us to be so upset and I guess react in a certain way because we feel hard done over. We have been promised success for so many years. We've been promised this, we've been promised that, Champions League football, Premier League trophies, and it hasn't been delivered to us, and so it's normal to react the way that we have. But I think we've lost sight of what we have at our disposal and what Arteta has done this season to develop the football that we've been playing. Because what I witnessed in tonight's game was a team who were who were sound at playing the game. Football sound. I'm trying to find the right group of words to explain what I have in my mind, but I saw a team today a group of players, 11 players on the pitch who knew exactly what they were doing, who knew and recognized and understood all the instructions that Arteta had given them post-match, during halftime, and during the game. They managed that game absolutely incredibly well, starting off from the offside goal. And I have to say, you know, there were clear patterns of play, clear patterns in the way that we were moving the ball from defence to attack, very similar to what we've been seeing of late in the Premier League and in the past Europa League games. But I feel like this game was everything finely tuned. It was as if we were seeing glimpses of things that were happening, being able to play out from the back, being able to play diagonal balls, being able to use our wingers effectively, Lacazette being able to effectively link up with the likes of Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, Partey doing a brilliant defensive job, but equally being so pivotal in playing the pivot role, getting that ball from defence, feeding it into midfield, into Emil Smith-Rowe. So Biles also doing an absolutely incredible job of as a positional, zonal central midfielder. He didn't need to do very much on the ball, but off the ball, he was brilliant. Xhaka as well, doing a very fine defensive job. Got a little bit lucky on a few occasions to not, be caught on fouls and stuff like that. But ultimately, he did his job that he had to do, which was hold his position, hold his line. Presence, his presence was felt. And, Rob Holding, Pablo Mari, leaders at the back there, really portraying that word, leader, playing high on the line, a high defensive line when needed to, winning the balls in the air, just the passion, the desire, the grit, the determination, all there. Everything today was finely tuned to what we've been seeing, the glimpses. The Arteta ball that we've been seeing in some occasions of the game was a course of 90 minutes. Everything was perfect. The goals were brilliant, came from brilliant bits of football being played. I mean, the ability to get the ball from one congested side of the pitch to then interchange it to the other, unlocking Saka with Chambers, skipping through defenders, Emil Smith-Rowe playing like Zidane at times, and Pepe as well on the left hand side. When are we gonna see more of that? When are we gonna see Pepe play on the left hand side? I've been screaming out for this. The best performances we've seen of Pepe have come from that left hand side. So isn't it clear enough now, even more so after this game, that he needs to play on that left-hand side? Saka needs to continue on the right-hand side, whether it's Odegaard or Emil Smith-Rowe. Any of them can play number 10. And whether it's Aubameyang or Lacazette for the time being, because he does so much off the ball. It's crucial, it's brilliant. But especially those two wingers. I feel like those two wingers, for me, unlocked everything we needed to in order to create goal-scoring opportunities. And like I said, it was unfortunate that we didn't get the first one, because had we had scored that, then had Emil Smith-Rowe's toe had been onside, we would have won that game by 5 goals. 5 goals in Prague. Who would have thought that? But I said it. Look, at the beginning of the game, post-match, I said it. On paper, we looked a far stronger side than them. They looked like they had potentially again overestimated or underestimated what we were going to bring to the table. I think they might have thought that Arsenal were going to cautiously approach this game. And maybe, the Arsenal of past, where they get into games, they're a little bit nervy at start and they're full of mistakes, especially playing it out from the back. But we were sound, we were perfect. We played our football to the T in the second half. We managed the game. We didn't need to play so much attacking football. We could afford to sit off and defend, and boy, did we do it well. Because again, I didn't worry that Arsenal was sitting off and allowing Slavia Praha to press and push forward, because our defenders were so well drilled and they were so well organised. The intensity and the concentration, I mean, you could see how well drilled these boys were. They knew where to be at all times. The zonal football and the the awareness to know where to be at what time was, for me, the biggest eye-opener. And it fills me with excitement, and it fills me with hope that we continue this in the future. And Arteta, we have to remember this is his first gig as a manager. This is his first European tournament. Has really started to get the wheels moving into motion. Because we made them look so poor. We made them look like an average European side. And I know on paper that they are an average European side, and with all due respect to Slavia Praha, but look, they're having their best season in God knows how many years. They've managed to knock out Rangers and Leicester City, who aren't average European side. I think maybe you can make a case for Rangers, but with Leicester, one of the best teams in England right now, with one of the best squads, with one of the best managers, progressive managers. And Arsenal, in both legs, and I say this with confidence, in both legs, dominated the football. And had they not taken, had they taken their opportunities in the first leg, it would have been a completely different story. But we're starting to see something build. We're starting to see something progress. And look, I think the rest of the conversation will happen at the end of the season. We can't end this conversation, and we can't conclude it with anything just yet, because there are still 7 games to play in the Premier League. There is still the semi-finals of the Europa League to play with Villareal, which is going to be absolutely fascinating. The context behind the managers and the philosophy, the style of football that they both play, and the job that they have, or they are doing at the minute at both clubs, it will be on the spotlight. And so, these are the moments that I live for. I really do. And this is what I will be, looking forward to every single day for the next 2 weeks. I know Fulham is next and is quickly approaching, but my sights are on the Europa League semi-finals. And so I'm going to leave it there. Look, overall, a fantastic performance. 4-0 on the night. Thoroughly deserved. Congratulations to Arteta and the boys. A professional job done well, very, very well. And we can only hope that it continues. If you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit that bell notification to be notified every time I release a video. I'll be back again tomorrow for another one. I'll be looking at Arteta's post-match press conference, where I'll be reacting to some of his questions and answers. But until then, stay home, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.